Hi everybody, welcome to Crafting with Bean. My name is Jill and I'm so excited that you're here today. This is my very first YouTube video and I'm so excited to share what I have for you today. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to use one stamp set. I'm using the Many Messages stamp set. Because it comes with a coordinating die that you can purchase and save 10% while doing that. I'm going to be using only the sentiments from that stamp set with this coordinating die, and I'm only going to be using one pack of designer series paper. And I'm just going to make about 5 or 6 different cards and show you all the different possibilities. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's get started with this really great product. This is the Many Messages stamp set that can be found in the mini catalog. It has over 23 sentiments and images in it. It's a really different but really amazing product. So let's take a look. It's actually one giant stamp. I'll open this and I'll show you here. It's one huge stamp. So if you have a Stamparatus, a Misty, you could even stamp this with ink and even put paper down on top of it. And it has all of these sentiments on here. And really it's from everything to happy birthday, happy anniversary, thinking of you, congratulations. It really just has something for every occasion. It also has a coordinating die, and it's also just one piece. So what'll happen is you stamp, you ink up your stamp, you stamp it on your piece of paper, and then you run it through your die cutting machine. Now you could fussy cut these, you don't need to get the die, but I mean, look at all these cute little stitch edges and borders and things. It's wonderful. It really is a good investment and it really helps out a lot. Once you finish everything, once you've stamped everything, once you've die cut everything through, you're left with, like I said, about 23 of these little sentiments and images. I mean, just look how cute and sweet they are. All different types of script and font and typeface. You really just have so many different kinds. And I said, it's really for any occasion. I store my dies and coordinating stamp sets together. I don't have much room in my craft room, so I keep everything stored together. And for these extra sentiments that I'm not going to use for today's project, I'll use for another day, I just put them inside of this little vellum envelope. I think this came from back in my scrapbooking days. I probably got it online or at some craft store. It just has adhesive on the back, and that's just where I store all of my little sentiments. So again, that's the Many Messages stamp set that's found in the mini catalog. I'm also using this one pack of paper, this designer series paper, this patterned paper. This is called the True Love designer series paper. And you can see on one side, it's all geometric shapes. My favorite is the polka dots by far, but you have stripes, geometric shapes. I mean, you really just have just so many different things. This is so versatile. It could really be used for masculine, feminine cards. Obviously it's black and white. It goes with any color that you have. And then I'll show you the other side here. I've been using quite a few of these pages. I didn't have a full-size sheet of this last one. The other side might be a little bit hard to differentiate between all of these two, but they have a floral print on the other side. So if you are a person that loves to go in and color all of those, you could use your blends, you could use watercolor, colored pencils. You really could use a lot of those things should you want to. I did not color them, and I'm going to show you what I did with them. What I did was I had my Many Messages bundle, and I had my designer series paper pack, also found in the mini catalog, and I got to it making 6 different cards. We're going to make one of those today. So I'm going to set that aside. For today's card that we're going to make, I just used some real red cardstock that I had in my stash. And let me just go through all of my different pieces here. This is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of paper that has been scored at 4 1/4. I have 2 sheets of printer paper. This is actually 28-pound printer paper. I like to use this because it goes a little bit further. It can handle the stamps. The markers and watercolors it wouldn't be able to handle, but just for simple stamping, nothing too juicy, it would be able to handle it just fine. I'm going to put this on the inside and the outside. We're going to make a thin border with this. I'm using one of my, you can see it's the other side of this sheet of paper here. This is designer series paper. Oh, I guess I should back up here just a second. This is cut at, this white printer paper is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. My designer series paper is cut at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and I'll have all of these measurements in the description below. Then what I need is just some scraps. So I'm going to need one scrap that's just large enough to put my sentiment on. You can see this one is obviously a lot larger. given how cute these little things are, you can see this has sort of a scalloped edge. You can kind of see the edge of this one. I really don't need to have another cardstock border behind it, so it's really up to you. That's just another great versatile thing about this. So the other thing that I'm going to use is one sheet of my scrap black card. This is the basic black cardstock, and this is just cut 5 1/8 by 1 inch. Okay, so let's get started. My supplies that I'm going to be using today, this is my little supply box. I'm going to be using my Stampin' Seal, my Take Your Pick tool through Stampin' Up. Boy, this thing is just, I have about 1,000,001 uses for it. This was the best 10 bucks I ever spent, I'll tell you that. I'm going to use my bone folder, my paper snips, I need my dimensionals, and I need my silicone crafting sheet. The last thing that I want to show you that I have out here, just a little bit of bling. I've got my basic, my pearl basic jewels that I have my holiday rhinestones, and I also have some black sequins that came from a paper pumpkin pack. I haven't decided which one of these I'm going to use yet. Once I have completed the front of my card, then I'll decide. So let me set some of these things aside. The first thing we're going to do, of course, is burnish this card in half. Just set these aside here. Now, one quick tip, everybody asks, where do you burnish? Do you burnish when you have the ridge, when you put that score mark into it? Here I have a dip, so it goes in. On this side, then I have the little ridge. You want to fold the ridge in. So where that bump is where I'm going to fold in. It really just gives a more clean line. My other tip that I'll give too, now I need to replace my bone folder. I don't know what happened to my Stampin' Up one. I'm going to have to order a new one. This is one that was given to me, which basically does the job, but unfortunately, I'm going to start in the middle and move up and move down. Unfortunately, and I don't think you'll be able to see this on camera, but it does leave a little bit of a sheen where it has been in contact with the paper, so I need to just replace this guy. But if that happens to you with your bone folder, just get in the habit of burnishing everything upside down. This will be the back side of the card. No one will notice, I promise. Okay, so I've got my card base set aside. I'm going to put my 2 pieces of white printer paper on my card. I'm going to pull up my silicone crafting sheet. I'm going to, adhere this down. And again, this is just printer paper. What I have found just for my purposes and given my experience, I'm a new Stampin' Up demonstrator, so I don't have a lot of the supplies quite yet. I don't have a lot of different types of cardstock. So I actually find that this is a little bit better for my money. But if you like to stamp a lot on the inside and really leave good solid impressions, if you like to use your blends, maybe this isn't the best option for you. I don't have a lot of those products quite yet in my stash, so until I get there, I use the printer paper and it works for my purposes. Also, for the outside of this is going to just give us a very thin border around the outside of the designer series paper. And let's see, do I want to do stripes or do I want to do floral? I'm going to do the stripes today, I think. Boy, I'll tell you this, Stampin' Up has done a good job of their designer series paper. When I'm stuck on which side I want to use, because both are so pretty, I think that shows a pretty good job well done. So you can see I'm really going to be covering up a lot of this printer paper, and it's just going to be a thin little border. So just using that printer paper I think is going to be just fine. So the next thing I'm going to do is adhere, as long as I have my Stampin' Seal out here, I'm going to adhere my sentiment to my scrap. Oh, come on here. And burnish that down. I'm just going to snip this. That's really all that I have to do. Just give that a nice snip. I'm going to put my black cardstock right here, and I have it just the length of my designer series paper. This is a striped card, so I don't know if you can really see where the card ends there just a little bit. But I'm going to adhere this down. If you were going to put ribbon around here, and I'll show you some of my other examples, I have ribbon around this scrap sheet of black cardstock. you could absolutely do that now. I would do that now. I would use just enough ribbon to just tack on the either side here, come across the front, tack on either side, rather than wrapping it around. If you're going to use twine, same thing. Just looking to save a little bit where I can. So I'm going to put this right about there. I'm just going to adhere that down. Get that tacked on there. Oh, just about so. I really just want to make sure that I'm even here. Get that down. I'm going to use my dimensionals. I think we'll be able to do 3 of these. Enter take your pick tool. Boy, that guy can really get in there and get those. I actually like to kind of pull it down that way. Kind of get underneath it and pull it up like that. It works really well with just about, I mean, I carry this thing around the house with me and use it for just about anything, it's true. I'm going to put this down here. And then what I'm going to do is add, I kind of want to take a look here. This looks like more of a masculine card for me, so I don't want to go too crazy. I don't think I'm going to use the pearls. Let's see. I think what I'll do, I think I'm going to use some of these holiday rhinestones. I'm going to put one here. Oops. I'm going to take the next size down. Oops. Oh dear. There we go. I'll put it right up there. And then let's do one more. Let's take the smallest one and let's put it, I think right about there. And there you have it, just a very, very simple card and came together very quickly. Let me move all of my other things aside here and show you. I have 5 other cards that I've done with the same formula, the same measurements. I used one of the sentiments that came from the Many Messages bundle. So let me show those to you. This is the one we made today. Then I have one that I used Gorgeous Grape instead. I used the Sending Happy Thoughts. Little sentiment there. I put that ribbon down. Again, I tacked it just underneath. The ribbon does not go all the way around underneath. It just goes, I have maybe, half an inch on either side tacked underneath there. I then took just a little small piece of ribbon, tucked it underneath. Maybe my ribbon was, I'll say 4 inches. And then I just tied a little simple knot here and it looks just like a little bow. It looks great. Not a lot of fuss. Of course, the inside I have that printer paper in there then as well. I chose Petal Pink for this one. This is from the Subtles collection. Using that same designer series paper, using the same sequin embellishments that came from a paper pumpkin kit. I have the frosted flowers that I put just alongside here. Thank you ever so much. You can see the little sequins here that I put in there. And that's my Petal Pink one again, just blank on the inside. Of course, my favorite, polka dots. This is the Bermuda Bay. I used a Bermuda Bay strip on here as well. I used black cardstock, again, just using up my scraps. The ribbon came from a paper pumpkin, actually the same paper pumpkin that these black sequins came from, I believe. And just kept it very simple, but look how nice that card is. On the inside there is, again, just of course, blank. Now, just playing to the black and white theme. I've got some copper wire here, just a little high there that's been popped up on a dimensional. Now, the inside here, I don't have any printer paper because it's already a white cardstock. This is the basic white cardstock. It's not the printer paper. So I used black cardstock for my thin border as opposed to using that printer paper for my white border around here as I have on some of the other cards. And the last one is basic black cardstock. Again, same thing. I've got my 5 1/8 by 1 inch strips. I've got some pastel pearls. I have my sentiment on dimensionals. I've got that designer series paper, blank inside. There's my printer paper. And so really, again, this is the True Love designer series paper. partnered with the Many Messages bundles, the stamp set and coordinating die, and I've been able to make 6 cards very quickly, very effortlessly with what I have in my stash and coordinating with, again, just using a very minimal amount of products. The Many Messages stamps and die set and the True Love Designer Series paper, as I said, can all be found in the mini catalog. I'm going to put a link to my online store below if you'd like to pick up those things. And hopefully, again, you don't have to get the coordinating die. You could fussy cut all of these, but having that die will really save you a great amount of time. Plus, it really does give you those sweet little edges and just kind of mixes things up a little bit for you. So you see, it's pretty simple. Just using one stamp set, a coordinating die. You don't even need the die. As I said, you can fussy cut these out if you want to. You can cut around them, but the die really does make this one a whole lot easier. And look at all the beautiful cards we were able to make today. Look through your stash, see if you can't be inspired too. If you liked today's video, go ahead and click the like button, the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the notification button so that every time I release a video, you'll be up to date. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.